So just a quick video here of me pressure testing this Sailor Beal 80-gallon tank. This tank was actually built in 1970 by a company called Western Tank. I'm going to be hydro testing it because it hasn't been in service for a long time. And this is my setup. I've got the hose filling it up right now. I've got everything blocked off. I've got the valve open just so I can see the water run out and get all the air out that I can. I picked this little hydraulic hand pump up on Amazon for $35. It actually comes with this hose. The hose already has a 1/2-inch NPT fitting on it, and you can see it goes up to 2.5 MPa, and I'm just going to test to 1.5 because that's about 217 psi. This is a 200 psi rated tank. The compressor I'm going to put on it only puts out 175 psi. Technically, I think you're supposed to hydro test to like 1.5 times the tank capacity, but I don't really feel comfortable putting 300 psi to a 55-year-old tank. So the setup here is really simple. I left the kind of factory shutoff valve that was already on there. I'll use that to relieve the pressure once the test is done. And I took out the check valve that sits in the top of the tank here, and I replaced it with just a 6-inch piece of pipe so I could use that to easily fill the compressor up. And with this fitting installed in the side, what you're going to see me do, I'll fill it up till water comes out of there, and then I'm actually going to start pumping it up. And once I pump it up and bleed all the water out, I'll cap this off. It's funny, so I have a lot of faith in this tank. I'm actually more concerned about this cheap Amazon pump kind of blowing up on me, if I'm being honest. We'll see what happens. Okay, you can see I've got this thing filled to the very top there, and I'm just going to start pumping this to try to bleed any air out of this line. Yeah, we're getting some air for sure. I think that was the big air bubble. Oh, there's another one. I'll pump this for a while just to make sure I've got all the air out. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some Teflon tape on here and cap this off. Okay, got it all capped off, ready to start pumping here. If you've watched my other plumbing videos, you know I'm very prone to leaks, so I'll be shocked if this goes well the first time. Let's see what's going to happen. Well, I guess nothing's going to happen. Wonder what the problem is. I guess the problem was I'm impatient because now that I've pumped it a bunch, it's finally starting to build some pressure. Probably just a little bit of air compressing in the top of that cap. Oh, I think I see a leak from my cap here. Yeah, I'm going to tighten that a little more. That's what I get for trying to do it on video. This cap really doesn't want to seal up. But interestingly enough, it's still holding pressure. So I think I'm gonna just take it up to 1.5, and I want to see how quickly it'll leak down with that leak. It is getting harder to pump this pump, by the way. You can kind of see water leaking around the seal of the pump now. But once it pushes it, it appears to really hold it well. Don't get me wrong, it's not that hard to pump it. Okay, that's right at 1.5, and still, yeah, just a tiny leak there. I want to see how long it'll hold this for though, even with that leak. We'll see. One thing I will mention is that the only gauge I have on this tank right now is the one that came with the $35 Chinese pump. So I'm really putting my faith in their hands right now. Okay, well, it's been a half an hour and the gauge has not moved. Even with this little leak, which actually the leak seems to have stopped itself, which is awfully convenient. So I'm going to call this pressure test a success, and I'm going to call this $35 Amazon hand pump a success as well. Like, this thing did great. It's super cheap. You can see that it's super cheap, but it did what it needed to do. Actually, the last thing I'm going to show, the only thing I'm worried about is maybe this gauge is stuck. So let's just relieve the pressure and see what happens. Well, gauge went back to 0. And judging by how quickly that pressure let out, I'm thinking there really was not much air in there at all, which is cool. Well, that's a wrap for this video. If you're interested in seeing me rebuild the rest of this compressor, I've got a original 705 Sailor Beal pump that's going to go on here and a 5 horsepower motor, and I'll have a kind of longer video series coming out of getting that rebuilt. I'm replacing my 30-gallon Husky here, and then I'm going to plumb some air drops in the shop and hopefully get it set up to paint some cars in here.